You started last year with hope. You had plans, energy, ambition. This time will be different, but month after month, something slowly faded. You skipped once, then twice. Then you stopped trying. And by the end of the year, you were left with the same feeling again. Silence, guilt, disappointment. So you quietly told yourself, maybe I'm just not built for this. But that's not the truth. You didn't fail because you're weak. You failed because you were using the wrong system. And almost everyone makes the same mistake. Every January, people rely on motivation. They feel inspired, hopeful, excited. They write big goals, big plans, big promises. But motivation is emotional, temporary, unstable. It always fades. And when it fades, nothing remains. No structure, no system, no identity, only pressure. So the brain does what it's designed to do. It protects you from discomfort. It avoids effort. It seeks comfort. It escapes into distraction, not because you're lazy, but because your nervous system prioritizes safety over growth. That's biology, not failure. The new year feels powerful because it creates the illusion of a fresh start, a psychological reset. But the calendar didn't change your mind. Your habits stayed the same. Your identity stayed the same. Your environment stayed the same. So, after a few weeks, you return to the same patterns. Not because you lack discipline, but because nothing underneath actually changed. Goals don't change behavior. Systems do. Identity does. Most people say, I want to be disciplined. I want to be productive. I want to change my life. But the brain hears something else. Pressure, expectation, fear, and fear activates resistance. Big goals feel heavy, intimidating, distant. So, the mind delays, avoids, postpones, until eventually you associate your goals with emotional pain. And once that happens, your brain begins to sabotage you automatically, not consciously, subconsciously. Why your environment is sabotaging you. Most people try to change their behavior inside the same environment that created the problem. Same room, same phone, same distractions, same triggers. And they wonder why nothing changes. Your environment shapes your behavior more than your motivation ever will. If your phone is always within reach, you will use it. If distractions are always visible, you will choose them. If comfort is always available, your brain will take it. This is not weakness. This is design. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your environment. Change the environment and behavior changes automatically. Remove friction from the actions you want. Add friction to the actions you want to escape, not through force, through design. Temporary behavior creates temporary results. Permanent change requires identity change. Most people say, I will try to work harder. I will try to be more disciplined. But trying keeps you in the old identity, the identity of someone who struggles. Real change happens when identity shifts. You stop saying, I am trying to focus, and start saying, I am someone who notices distraction. You stop saying, I am trying to be disciplined, and start saying, I am someone who responds consciously. Identity is not built through big moments. It is built through small, repeated evidence. Every small action becomes proof. Every proof rewrites self-perception. Every shift in self-perception changes behavior naturally, not forced, not dramatic, not emotional, quiet, stable, permanent. The real problem is not lack of willpower. The real problem is unconscious behavior. You don't notice when you reach for your phone. You don't notice when you avoid discomfort. You don't notice when you escape into distraction. So the loop repeats itself every day. Resistance, avoidance, guilt, escape, repeat. Over time, that loop becomes identity. This is just who I am. I've always been like this. I can't change. But that is not personality. That is conditioning. Real change does not begin with pressure. It begins with awareness, not motivation, not hype, not intensity. Awareness. The moment you begin noticing your behavior in real time, the loop weakens. You catch yourself reaching for your phone. You catch yourself avoiding the task. You catch yourself seeking comfort, not to judge yourself, not to fight yourself, but to observe. That observation creates a gap, and inside that gap, you finally gain choice. You don't rebuild your life through massive plans. Massive plans trigger fear. You rebuild your life through small, honest actions. Not, I will work for 3 hours, but I will open the document. Not, I will become disciplined, but I will sit with this discomfort for 30 seconds. The mind does not resist small actions, and small actions slowly rebuild identity, not through force, but through consistency. Discipline is not pushing harder. Discipline is not fighting yourself. Discipline is not suffering. Real discipline is awareness in action. It's noticing the impulse, noticing the resistance, noticing the avoidance, and choosing consciously instead of reacting automatically. That is the real transformation. You stop being someone who tries and become someone who notices. You stop being controlled by patterns and start observing them. That is freedom. You are not broken. You are not lazy. You are conditioned. And conditioning can be undone, not through pressure, but through awareness, not through motivation, but through observation. Real change does not begin with intensity. It begins with honesty. If this video helped you see your own mind more clearly, consider sharing it with someone who feels stuck. Sometimes one perspective shift is enough to change everything. And if you want more videos like this, calm, honest, psychological truths about life and discipline, you can subscribe, not for motivation, but for clarity.